Hello, it's Robert again, and it's happy Thursday from me. It's my newsletter day. A couple of little bits of interesting information. I'm going to just go through my newsletter for the day, even though you receive it just connecting. But a couple of little bits of information today, which the first thing I saw today was a video sent to me by a friend, and it's Dr. Shiva, and he's ranting. It's normally me, Robert ranting, people say, but he's ranting about what's going on, and it's quite interesting to see that there are good doctors out there. Not many, but there are good doctors, and I'm really sorry if you are a good doctor, and you'll know who you are, because you're a doctor that stands up for the good health of the patients, the population. You would give, in spite of being threatened with a sack, you would give a patient that had sepsis intravenous vitamin C because you read it, and you read that it's good, and then you've read the study. And if you had a patient with coronavirus, you'd give them vitamin C and vitamin D because you know that they were giving such things in China and getting great results, and it's no side effects. You'd also give them beta-glucan, which is an extract either from mushrooms or from oats, because you know that that boosts this immune system, makes it strong. That's what good doctors do. Good doctors go through nutrition first, then they go as a last resort to drugs and certainly to vaccinations. And that brings me on to the other video that I've seen today. Now, I've posted both this. Dr. Shiva's video has been posted on my Natural Healthy News, which you can look at later. And also this video of Bill Gates. Bill Gates saying that he is advocating no mass gatherings and probably a lockdown of people, house arrest by another name, until everybody is vaccinated. And he's talking about everybody in the world, even third world countries. The guy is a megalomaniac. A dangerous megalomaniac. He may be behind everything that's going on with coronavirus, because when you watch his full video on YouTube about this, it's just a little excerpt that I've got on mine, and listen to him carefully what he's saying. He's a megalomaniac, a dangerous megalomaniac. I don't know who's going to stop him, because if all the governments are just bowing down to his whims, what's happening in this world? Anyway, and this is my problem, you see. I have to read everything that's happening and go through everything that's happening in the media, because it's my job to report to the people I'm helping. And I do help people all day and every day. Not just hundreds, but thousands of people. People come and tell me that, their lung disease has gone, their heart disease has gone, their cancer's gone, just by following natural health and nutrition. And so I owe it to these people that I have to find out. I have to give the right advice. I don't want to say to somebody, oh, just don't do anything about this because it's against my principles. I don't have principles. I just have an aim, and that's to help people get healthy. And so I have to take it all in. The challenge is that, it's separating fact from fantasy, and it's really difficult. But interesting is that the number of people that die in the year is spikes in January, February, March. It starts about the 20th of December and it goes through to roughly the 20th of March, and then it starts to drop. Yes, you might say that coincides with all this panic about deaths. Well, let me tell you, in the UK, we have great bean counters, and these bean counters have been counting how many people die every year in this period. And it's apparently good news. Good news for you, not for the doctors and the medical system that is carrying on with this fake concept. Last year, in 2019, 146,000 people died in this 3-month period, this spike period. But this year, in the same period, only 138,000 people, that's 138, and that includes the people that were had COVID COVID-19 involved in their death. So that's a huge drop. Where's the panic? Why am I under house arrest? Why am I not allowed to go freely about my business in this country? If I go too far, stray too far from my home, I could be arrested by the police. I mean, I'm 74. I just could never believe this would happen in my lifetime. This is fascism, medical fascism, but it's fascism. And that's the excuse. If they just said, we want to be fascist and we want everybody to do what we say, we would have revolted. But they've not said that. They said, this is for your own good. So this is what's happening. But the fact is, and I'm reading now from the UK government website, a total of 138,913 deaths were registered in England and Wales between the 28th of December 28th of December 2019 and the 20th of March 2020, year to date. Of those, 108 involved COVID-19. But then they updated it to the 26th of March and they said that there was 210 deaths. 210. I thought that was every minute of the day by the way the media's talking about all the dead people. No, that's in the whole period of 3 months, 210. It's probably gone up a little bit now, but how do we know? Because unless we get official figures from the bean counters, we cannot trust the media and we cannot even trust the doctors because they're all part of this. They're the heroes. I mean, people clap the heroes. They clap the doctors who will not give vitamin C to these people, who will not give vitamin D to these people, who will not give magnesium to these people, who will not give beta-glucan to these people and recover them. They would rather watch them die with their fake drugs than just give people what has been shown in studies to recover them. And that's what China did. I know China's getting lots of stick. As far as I'm concerned, it's part of the deep state attack on China because they are afraid of China. China's a big country. It's a powerful country. And the deep state has ruled our world since 1946, when I was born anyway. I've known no other ruler other than the deep state. Anyway, so that's it, folks. Even our bean counters will not say that anybody's died from. They said COVID-19, coronavirus, is involved in the death. It doesn't say they died of the death. So they probably had lung disease, and they could detect. Well, they say they can detect COVID-19, and that's it. So even the bean counters won't say it, but the doctors will, and the medias will. Now, in the USA, I can't find up-to-date figures, and the only figure I can find is 2017. I don't know what somebody's got to hide about. At least our bean counters in the UK are giving us figures up until up to date, literally within days. I will be looking and reporting on it. I won't do it every week. Well, I might do. We'll see how it goes. But in the 2017, in this 3-month period, 756,000 people died. And at the moment, there's about 12,000 cases of COVID-19 involved in deaths. And I'm saying involved because I'm not going to say they died of COVID-19, as the media does in the USA. And the reason is because you've got the governor of New York saying, "Oh, our people are dying. We need this and we need that," because it's just politics. That they make politics out of the deaths of people happily. But if anybody knows how to find the US deaths, the true US deaths monthly, currently, please let me know. Give me a link. I don't think you'll find it at the CDC. The CDC, the Centre for Disease Control, is just a part of the deep state pharma medical cartel. It's not a part of the US government. It's said to be, but it's not. I wish it was. But some interesting information while I was there, I got off the US deaths yearly, this is yearly now, and give you three. There's a long list here of different conditions, but most people die from heart disease, which is 647,000 a year. And I'll just come to the middle, which is influenza, which is 58,000 people die in this period, roughly in this period, because they don't die in the summer of influenza. So call it 60,000 just for an easy memory. And 10,000 people have died from coronavirus. So when did the governor of New York say 60,000 people are dying from influenza, we have to close it down and do this and do that? It's so obvious. I can't believe anybody is falling for this, but they are. Because even on our local Facebook sites, people are actually cheering on what the pharmaceutical pharma and the medical system are doing. They're actually cheering them on the thing. Actually, when we walk out, people sometimes say to us, "Oh, yeah, it's really, really bad what's going on." No, it's not. Oh, no, but we don't say that actually, because otherwise we won't be very popular around here. So, 64,000 dead from heart disease, 59,000 dead from influenza, 10,000 dead from coronavirus. Let's see how it all pans out. My one little bit of humour in the day, and it is quite humorous, even though it's about death really, but is the BBC has put out advice this morning and advising people to not believe in anything they read on the internet about COVID-19 or coronavirus, and only get their information from the BBC or the World Health Organization. The BBC is just a deep state actor beyond any possibility of anything else. The World Health Organization, I've said before, didn't used to be, but now it's just a deep state actor for the pharma medical cartel. And this advice will just keep me laughing for this whole holiday weekend. I don't know if you're having a holiday this weekend, and if you do, I hope you have a really good one, not under house arrest. You may be, I don't know, difficult to tell because I know you're from different parts of the world when I speak. Anyway, back to my day job, and I'm talking about magnesium this week. Every week I get emails from questions about various conditions, feedback from people. Excuse me. Have a drink of my water with sodium bicarbonate. So every week I mention magnesium, part of the health, and to be precise, it's impossible to get the amount of magnesium in the diet that was available just 60 years ago. You would have to eat double the amount of magnesium-rich food to get it, and which is a silly thing to do, but you would have to double your food intake. Because the magnesium in that period, in the last 60 years, is reduced by 50% in the food. It's no longer in the soil because, of course, if you keep growing plants on the soil and then take them away, it's going to reduce and reduce and reduce. And scientists are now saying that we've got about 10 to 20 years left and we'll have very little fertile soil. There is another way, and I advocate soilless cultivation, hydroponics, fertilised with liquid seaweed, but that's for another day. I will go through that. I've got a 4-page article on that which I will share with you when I do that. But it also applies to organic foods. Organic foods, just because it's organic doesn't make it more rich in magnesium. Organic means no pesticides and other chemicals. It doesn't say that the soil that it was grown on is any more richer in magnesium. And so it's quite important because magnesium is not optional, it's a critical mineral. And the benefits for the immune system are well known to science, and I've referred to it many times. If you were taken into an emergency room with a life-threatening condition, the doctors would give you a magnesium intravenous drip straight away to save your life, because it's the best thing anybody can ever get to save their life and obviously return you to health so that they can start to put right whatever's wrong. But increasingly, I've also said that these drips have sodium bicarbonate, because that's what I call the penny cure. Sodium bicarbonate should be in everybody's drink of water, and it should be in every IV drip that you get from a doctor. Excuse me again. I've been doing a lot of talking today. It's 7 o'clock in the evening, by the way, here in the UK. Oh, it was when we started. So my quick solution for everybody is sodium bicarbonate in 6 glasses of water and ancient magnesium oil massaged into your legs and feet. And that's the very basis of everything. Now, the reason I say this is because I had 3 people contact me this week and say, "Oh, I've got gout. What can I do, Robert?" So I emailed back and said, "Well, there's 2 things. Take some some sodium bicarbonate in glasses of water immediately, and order some magnesium oil." And that's magnesium oil. That's my personal magnesium oil. And when you get that, just massage it into your feet and legs, and it will be gone. And they all come back within a day or 2 to say, "Amazing it was. I've been taking tablets for X amount of time from the doctor, and it wasn't stopping it. And why would it work so quick?" And I say, well, 2 things. One is you were magnesium deficient, which caused the problem. But also, gout is an acidic problem in your body because you haven't been having enough magnesium, sodium bicarbonate, I should say, or magnesium. And of course, you're deficient in magnesium, and just put some magnesium oil on your feet. It will absorb in straight away. Within minutes, it will start working. And we know that because it works if you've got cramp. You just put some on the cramp and it will go within minutes. So that's the thing, that's the, if you like, the little story about it. But of course, it also works for people with life-threatening lung disease as well. And I'll come to that in a minute. So we've got to correct the magnesium deficiency, and especially because there's 7 different reasons on the immune system. And I'm just going to go through them now. It decreases inflammation in the body. Well, you probably know inflammation is a major problem, but magnesium is actually related to the body's inflammatory response or the system. And what it does, it literally calms the inflammation in the body, encourages the healing to take place. And that's why you get, if you're got a back problem, neck problem, hip problem, anything, you'll get relief. Doesn't cure the problem. It may cure the problem if it is just that, or it may give you relief. And then you need to deal with the other problem itself. I'll give you an instance now, because I just mentioned the hip, so I've got to do it. If you had a degenerative hip, and you catch it early enough, then by having the magnesium, it will probably help to heal it, especially if you change your diet. But if it doesn't, then all you need to do is have something called PRP, platelet-rich plasma injections, and the magnesium, and then it will heal it, and the whole thing will regenerate. I'll do PRP as a separate one day, actually. It's just awesome. People have it for hair loss and for facelifts, all sorts, but it's also amazing for the joints. It ensures cellular turnover. You have something, apoptosis, and that's this normal process of cell death. And our cells are dying all the time. If they become useless, then you need to get them out of the way. So magnesium is used by the body to speed up that process. But it also eradicates cells that have been invaded by virus, fungus and cancer cells. And if you've got enough magnesium in the body, then it will clear out those cells and get rid of them quickly. So it's quite important that you have magnesium. It does it by producing a number of antibodies in the process. It's all written down, so you'll see this in the newsletter. And if you don't get my newsletter, you should sign up at naturalhealthynews.com, and you'll get it. It improves breathing, and this is, I knew this from many, many years ago because it was the very first serious condition that we helped using magnesium and serrapeptase and other things. But it acts as an antihistamine, and it works like a bronchodilator. So people take drugs, and puffers and whatever they call them, to ease airway inflammation. Well, magnesium does the same, massaging it onto the chest and onto the back between the shoulder blades, gets it straight into the bronchial system and the lungs. It's safe and beneficial even for children for severe childhood asthma, which is just, instead of getting them hooked on drugs, get them hooked on magnesium, which is what they're short of anyway. You can add magnesium flakes to a refillable salt pipe. You've seen people with salt pipes breathing through the salt into the lungs. Well, you can put magnesium flakes if it's a refillable kind. And the magnesium flakes, of course, is going to get the magnesium direct into the bronchial and the lungs that way. So it's a pretty good system to do it. And so, as I said before, it's one of the first things I was using for helping people clear up terminal lung disease, and it's very good. You have to follow your diet, change the diet as well, though. It's because eating carbs and sugar is one of the reasons, because carbs and sugar feeds fungus, and fungus is the problem in your lungs. But let's keep that to a minimum for now. It protects the elderly. Older people may have already compromised immunity as a result of low magnesium, and that low magnesium can be either because of the diet or age-related uptake. In other words, you don't take as much as you need as you get older, and that's why by having a magnesium oil that will absorb through the skin, you can have it around the body anywhere you want, all over the body, or just where you need it, precisely where you've got a problem. And so it does protect the elderly, but it also, of course, it stops chronic illnesses like heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes. It reduces immunosuppression from exercise, and this is for young and old alike. If you exercise really, really intensely, you burn through your available magnesium, and if you've not got a lot of magnesium in your body, then you're going to get recovery times slow and also damage your tissue. And by supplementing magnesium, you overcome that. You speed up the recovery time, you speed up the healing of the damage that takes place when you're doing intense exercises or sports, of course, like soccer players, they intensely work for 90 minutes, but then they also do training intensely as well, so they should all be on magnesium, and it would stop an awful lot of the injuries that they get, but that's another story. I've tried to get to soccer players, but you have to get through club doctors and club trainers and all sorts before you can get to them, so it's never worked, unless anybody knows any soccer players actually to to help us out there. Just another thing, this is a side actually, it's not in the newsletter, but we also have a solution for, the soccer players, if they keep heading the ball, and American football players, if they keep banging their heads, it leads to senility and premature death from brain disease. That's recoverable, because doctors don't have anything for brain injury, and improving the cells in the brain to regenerate. They don't have it, but we do. There you go. Just an aside. Releases toxins, and this is part of the one before the apoptosis. When you have enough magnesium in your body, it produces more ATP. Now, ATP is the power for the whole body to regenerate. So by improving ATP, it also enables all the healthy cells to flush themselves, and so they don't become stagnant. And of course, it also can cause immunity problems by your cells not functioning properly. And last but not least, it stops infection. And it does stop infection. It stops it all over. And I've got studies for all these. And if you want, I would send you the studies. If you email me at robert@goodhealth.nu, I would send the studies. So all these 7 items, I've got studies to back them up. But if it stops infection. But this particular infection is a fever that women get when they're having a baby after an extended labour, and by having the study shows that by giving the pregnant woman magnesium, it stops the fever at the time of the labour, and it also decreases complications in the newborn infant, including cerebral palsy, seizures, and difficulty breathing. That's just awesome. I love helping people, but I love helping babies more, actually, because people, it's up to them whether they take my advice or not. But babies have no choice in it. They're dependent on us getting it right, actually getting the nutrition that they need, actually, like vitamin D3, because if a baby's deficient in vitamin D3, it's going to have immune problems until it corrects that. So some facts on magnesium. We depend on it for magnesium for nervous system support, heart health, blood sugar, glucose maintenance, balanced blood pressure, anxiety, sleep regulation, that's my reason for taking it, muscle and bone integrity, and of course immune function. So you almost can't tell me why you shouldn't take it. Magnesium deficient disrupts the body's mineral balance over time, and it can trigger a real domino effect. Some people start off with one condition, and then it gets worse and worse, especially as they get older. As we said before, elderly need more magnesium than any time, but even the youngsters need it. The health benefits can rise quickly, so even just a short period of putting magnesium oil on the body, the effects are very, very quick to, like I showed you before, spoke before about the gout. It just is very, very fast, the effects. This is the best way to get magnesium in your body because it's soluble, it absorbs through the skin, it's got OptiMSM, which is an organic form of silver, which makes it absorb even faster and deeper into the body than just ordinary magnesium oil. We do sell both, but personally, I think the Ultra is the best of all. And even if you're eating, as I said before, an organic diet, it's still not enough. You've got to have some supplementation, especially during times of illness, and it's very critical. I say that magnesium oil itself is the very, very best and absorbs the very best. There's just no other way to get it in. I mean, you can even put it on your head as well, on your hair, to get it into the brain. That was part of my brain recovery plan, but that's, there's not many things can get past the blood-brain barrier, but magnesium can get there if you put it in all the areas around the body. It also is for everybody in the family, whether it's children, pregnant women, adults, immunocompromised older people, just everybody that needs magnesium. Actually, they give magnesium to horses. I don't know whether you know, because even though they're eating all the grass in the fields and hay and whatever, they still are deficient in magnesium. And so they give a magnesium flakes. One of our, in fact, our financial officer, she has horses, and she just gets our flakes and grinds them up and mixes it with the feed for the horses. I'm sure it's for all animals, really, but we've never tried to give it to our dog. Probably worth us trying. But we've got lots of research, and as I say, I've got all the studies on requests. And that's it, really. I can go on about some of the same stuff, but that's okay. And if you've got any questions, please, you can put them on here, but it's best to email me because I just can answer them much more easily because I've got fat fingers and on the phone. So, take care of yourself. If it's a holiday weekend for you, then I hope you can really, really enjoy yourself and get out in the sun shining here anyway, up in the north of England, where I live actually. And take care. And I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.